It was a chilly October evening in 2023 when I found something that turned my quiet life upside down. My name's Ethan Caldwell, a 36-year-old electrician running a small business out of a cabin I built from scratch in the mountains of Montana. This place, tucked 5 miles up a winding dirt road and surrounded by towering cedars, was my sanctuary, a retreat from the chaos of the world, a workshop where I tested security systems and electrical setups for clients. Every wire, every switch, every camera in that cabin was my handiwork, and trust me, that detail becomes critical later. I was doing routine maintenance on my truck, checking oil, swapping tires when my flashlight glinted off something odd under the rear bumper. A sleek, professional-grade GPS tracker, secured with heavy-duty magnets, stared back at me. This wasn't some cheap gadget you'd grab online. It was high-end, with a battery life that could last months. My hands shook, and not from the biting mountain air. Someone was watching me, tracking my every move. Who? And why? 2 days later, I got my answer in the most brazen way possible. I was sipping coffee on my deck, the morning mist curling through the trees, when I heard engines grinding up my private road. Through my binoculars, I spotted a silver van followed by a dark blue SUV crunching gravel as they approached. My gut twisted. I recognized that van. It belonged to Laura Bennett, our HOA's self-proclaimed community ambassador, a title she'd invented after everyone else stopped bothering with meetings. She stepped out, dressed in a cheap blazer that screamed discount rack, clutching a bottle of wine and flashing a smile so fake it could have been plastered on a billboard. For strangers trailed behind her, looking cold, confused, and like they'd just realized how far from civilization they were. "Ethan," Laura called out, her voice bouncing off the cliffs with that grating cheer people use when they're about to overstep. "Surprise. I brought my leadership retreat group to see your gorgeous cabin. Don't worry, I'll handle everything. You just enjoy the networking." She waved that wine bottle like she was auditioning for a bad rom-com, completely ignoring the fact that she was trespassing on my property with a carload of strangers. I stood there, coffee mug in hand, staring at this woman who'd apparently been tracking me for who knows how long, acting like she owned my home. The audacity was staggering. But moments like this, they reveal exactly who you're dealing with. Laura wasn't just the neighborhood busybody. She was calculated, invasive, and dangerous. I didn't yell or argue. Instead, I pulled out my phone and opened the security app I'd built for my cabin. With a few taps, I triggered what I call the Fortress Protocol, designed to keep out burglars, but never meant for uninvited guests like these. A steel gate at the end of my driveway slammed shut with a thud that echoed through the forest. Laura spun around, her fake smile cracking. "What was that?" she stammered. "Oh, I was just getting started." I cut the power to every exterior light, plunging the mountain into an eerie twilight. Through my thermal cameras, I watched her guests shift nervously. This was not the cozy retreat they'd been sold. Then I fired up the outdoor speakers I'd installed for music and let my voice boom across the property. "This is private property. You're trespassing. Everything is being recorded for the sheriff. Explain yourselves now, or I call the law." The effect was electric. Laura's wine bottle slipped from her grip, shattering on my deck in a splatter of red. Her guests erupted in confusion. "What's happening? This wasn't in the brochure." "Laura, you said this was legit." One of them, a woman in medical scrubs named Dr. Sarah Mitchell, stepped forward with the calm authority of someone who'd handled crises in an ER. "I paid $900 for this wellness retreat," she said, her breath clouding in the cold. "My hospital required this for continuing education credits." "Laura, what the hell is going on?" That's when Laura's purse hit the deck, spilling its contents: tissues, mints, and something that made my blood run colder than the Montana wind. Among the mess was a stack of forged documents with my name on them. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a call from my business partner, Nate Collins. His voice was shaky, a tone I'd never heard from him. "Ethan, sit down. I ran the plates from that van and SUV. Laura's been parking outside your cabin for a month every day while you're in town working. And it gets worse. My buddy at the sheriff's office says she filed a change of address with the post office 2 months ago. She's been getting mail delivered to your cabin, bank statements, credit applications, the works." My coffee mug hit the floor, shattering. She hadn't just been trespassing. She'd been living in my life, using my address, my electricity, my internet to run her schemes. A sweep of my cabin confirmed it. My guest room was her command center laptops, a printer, stacks of fake documents, and my own filing cabinet stuffed with profiles on 47 other property owners. She'd been stalking their routines, finances, even personal weaknesses. My file, 3 inches thick, detailing my coffee runs, hiking trails, even my breakup with my ex. The GPS tracker was just her insurance to avoid getting caught. Down in the driveway, the group dynamics had shifted. Dr. Sarah and a corporate lawyer named David Harper had taken charge, organizing the group to stay warm and ration snacks while grilling Laura. Her polished act was unraveling. She was disheveled, her makeup smeared, her excuses incoherent. "Ethan and I have an arrangement," she insisted, but when David demanded proof, she claimed the contract was at home. Sarah's sharp questions about the retreat's legitimacy, fake testimonials, stolen resort photos left Laura stammering. Her accomplices, Greg and Melissa, were crumbling too. Greg paced, muttering about alimony debts, while Melissa clutched her laptop, silent after Sarah exposed the fraudulent website she'd built. I upped the pressure with hourly broadcasts. Hour 3 of your illegal visit. Mountain temperatures drop fast after dark. Hypothermia is a real risk. All actions are recorded. Laura flinched at every announcement, while Sarah and David's skepticism grew. By hour 5, David's legal mind had pieced together the scam. A recent business license, stock photo models and testimonials, and $15,000 siphoned from the HOA's emergency fund. "This is fraud," he declared. "Advanced fee scam, identity theft, trespassing, federal charges." Laura. Her face went ashen. She tried to turn the group against me, claiming I was an unhinged veteran with PTSD, but Sarah shut her down cold. "I treat trauma patients daily." Ethan's response is rational. Yours screams sociopathy. The real bombshell came when I found Laura's active targets folder. She'd been targeting single men on valuable properties, using romance scams to infiltrate their lives. My file revealed she'd orchestrated fake online profiles to catfish me, extracting details about my routines. But the worst was yet to come. On day 3, Deputy Ryan Carter arrived with backup after running Laura's name. She was wanted in Idaho and Oregon for identical scams, part of a multi-state identity theft ring that had stolen over $250,000. As deputies cuffed her, she screamed that I was the dangerous one, but the evidence, GPS tracker, security footage, forged documents, was ironclad. Charges piled up: aggravated identity theft, mail fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. Laura made bail in 48 hours and unleashed a harassment campaign that made my life hell. She filed baseless lawsuits, restraining orders, property damage claims, even civil rights violations. Fake online reviews tanked my business, accusing me of shoddy work and theft. She reported fake building code violations, triggering inspections. She even called my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Larson, to warn her about my instability. But her biggest mistake was surveilling me from the road, snapping photos that caught a retired judge's cabin. Judge Henry Walsh, livid, flagged her behavior as stalking, escalating the case. The turning point was Laura's daughter, Chloe, 23, who contacted Detective Lisa Morgan with a bombshell. Mom's planning to forge ownership of Ethan's cabin for a loan fraud scheme, she confessed, handing over screenshots of catfishing messages, fake deeds, and plans to discredit me with PTSD stereotypes. Worse, Chloe revealed Laura had researched permanent solutions, drug overdoses, staged accidents, even carbon monoxide poisoning if I didn't back down. A Wyoming cabin fire linked to a victim who'd fought Laura legally raised suspicions of arson. The FBI took over, uncovering a $2 million property theft network across 8 states. At sentencing, Judge Eleanor Stone faced a packed courtroom of victims from 3 states. Laura, in an orange jumpsuit, looked defeated. "In 35 years, I've rarely seen such calculated cruelty," Judge Stone said, sentencing her to 14 years in prison, 10 years probation, and full restitution of $90,000. Chloe stood and renounced her mother, vowing to change her name. The courtroom applauded. My community rallied, forming a nonprofit to protect rural homeowners. My cabin became a training hub for fraud prevention. Laura, even in prison, tried to keep scheming, coaching inmates on fraud, but her intercepted letters only fueled the FBI's case. 2 years later, my business is thriving, my cabin's my sanctuary again, and our community's stronger than ever. Laura's crimes didn't break us, they built us. But here's where it gets messy. Was Chloe truly a victim, or did she know more than she let on? Should I have pressed harder for those arson charges? And what about the system that let Laura slip through for years? Drop your thoughts below. Did she get what she deserved, or is there more to this story? Like, comment, and subscribe for more wild tales where justice fights dirty.